2 updates we are cooking up for Magic Mod. The first is Soul Update Part 2, and the second is Random Spells Update. Enjoy the video! Let's finally start with the Random Spells Update. So far, we have created 5 new spells that don't fit any particular theme. The first 2 spells are Instant Healing in 2 variations. The Instant Healing spell restores entities that are not completely dead. That is, if an entity's brain is damaged or the entity is fully dead, this spell won't help. However, with the Instant Healing 2 spell, you can heal anyone, even if the entity is dead or the brain is damaged. The second version of this spell is very powerful, and was intentionally made this way. Here are the spellbooks. They look similar, but Instant Healing 2 looks more enhanced. These spells also differ in mana usage. The Instant Healing spell uses 3 MP on use and 0.2 MP per second. The Instant Healing 2 spell uses 6.5 MP on use and 1 MP per second. Using this spell is quite simple. Assign the spell to a limb, then hold H. You will see a small crosshair indicating where you are aiming. This was added for convenience. If you aim at a target that cannot be healed, the crosshair will be red. If you aim at an entity that can be healed, the crosshair will be green. Once the crosshair is green, release the H key, and the green crosshair will fly towards the target, healing it depending on the spell variation. That's it for this spell. The next spell is quite interesting to me. It adds Gravity Manipulation. The Gravity Manipulation spell uses 6.7 MP on use and 2.6 MP per second. Because of this, it is quite powerful. With this spell, you can grab any object and then throw it anywhere. So, you ask, how does it work? Let me explain. Hold down the H button, and the crosshair from the previous spell will appear. Use it to aim. If the weight is too heavy to lift, the crosshair will be red. If the weight can be lifted, the crosshair will be green. When you've selected the object, release the H key. The targeted object will attach to the back of the mage and follow them around, consuming mana depending on the object's weight. To throw the object, press H again on the hand assigned to the spell. The object will be thrown in the direction the hand is pointed. Only stronger mages can lift heavier objects as they have a higher level of this type of spell. The next spell is for a new mage I will talk about later. It is another spell in the ice type of magic called Icing. It is a cool variation of ice spells, using 5.95 MP on use. This spell freezes an entity to -100 degrees, and then shatters it a few seconds later. Aim at an entity, and release H to see the result. Depending on the mage's power, this spell works faster or slower. For example, with the new Ice Mage, this spell works almost instantly, freezing very quickly and shattering even faster. This may be changed, but for now it works this way. The last spell in the Random Spells update is Bloody Eye. It is assigned to the head, unlike the previous spells, and uses 10.5 MP on use. This spell summons a large eye that protects the mage from all entities. The eye will follow the entity, and once it notices someone looking at it, it will follow them. After about 10 seconds, the eye will curse the entity if it doesn't stop looking at it. An entity cursed by the eye cannot be restored using instant healing spells mentioned earlier. Cursed creatures are infected with an unknown virus that causes skin to tear and bones to break. The eye can be destroyed with other spells. Once destroyed, it quickly shrinks, leaving white marks on surfaces. What do you think of the spells in the Random Spells update? I think they are pretty good and will fit the Magic mod. Now, let me tell you about a spell made for the Soul Update Part 2. Soul Blast is a powerful spell that can be used for 2 purposes: destroying enemies or implanting souls into other entities. But before using it, you need to hold a soul stone with a soul in the other hand. This is how it works for now. But in the future, we will add a soul holder that will contain more souls. Let me first explain the destruction use. Hold H, and the soul will leave the stone. The longer you hold the spell, the stronger it charges. Once the spell is charged, release H. The soul will fly at high speed, and burst upon hitting an object. If you want to implant a soul into an entity, charge the soul and launch it at a soulless entity. So far, souls differ only in strength and flight speed. For example, a small soul doesn't tear apart a mage's limbs but only knocks them back, which is still quite a significant damage to the mage. During the time this video was created, a few more things were created. The first one is the soul holder. Essentially, it's a belt with 8 soul stones attached to it. This means it can hold 8 souls of any kind. This item works the same way as other wearable items for entities. Move the soul holder close to the lower part of the entity's body, and the item will automatically attach to it. We also added an MPW window for all soul containers. You might ask, what are these soul containers? They are soul stones, soul holders, and entities. In the context menu of these containers, there is a context option. Click on it, and a window will open. In this window, you can manipulate the souls. For example, you can select several and release them. We are also in the process of changing the visual for souls. When a soul merges with a soul stone or some entity, it will emit tendrils that hold onto whatever the soul is attached to. These tendrils can also be torn off with force. This isn't fully implemented yet, but it will definitely be ready in the next video. We want to apply a similar principle to how books are studied. We plan to visually change the runes that extend from the book to the mage's head. I also can't remember if I mentioned this, but we've added a new large book called the Omniscience Book. This is a book from some great all-knowing mage, who wrote down all spells in one book. Studying it will take a lot of time, but the mage will learn all spells immediately. This book is an alternative to the settings that give all spells to all mages. Speaking of settings, we've added another one: soul containers filled by default. Now all soul containers will automatically be filled with medium souls, such as soul stone or soul holder. Another setting added with this update is more powerful spells. This setting multiplies the power of all spells from the mod. And the final setting is a toggle for whether souls will disappear over time. By default, this is enabled. This is the end of all the news about Souls Update Part 2. But that's not all. In the next video we will show you many more things you don't know about. So we'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like.